हेलो दोस्तों, स्वागत है वापस से आप सभी का इस नए वीडियो में। बेसिकली ये मेरा फर्स्ट स्ट्रीम है, लाइव स्ट्रीम है। तो है, अगर कोई गलती वलती हो जाती है तो सॉरी। बट इस स्ट्रीम में बेसिकली मैं एक वेबसाइट डिज़ाइन करने वाला हूँ। तो ज़्यादा एक्सपीरियंस है नहीं मुझे वेबसाइट डिज़ाइनिंग का, एंड मैं प्रोफेशनल भी नहीं हूँ किसी वेबसाइट डिज़ाइन करने का। इट्स जस्ट बिन अ फ्यू, आई थिंक 1 या 2 महीना हुआ है हार्डली वेबसाइट डिज़ाइन सीखा हुआ। इनफैक्ट स्टिल जस्ट प्रैक्टिसिंग, बट आई हैव क्रिएटेड क्वाइट अ फ्यू वेबसाइट डिज़ाइंस। तो होपफुली आप लोगों ने अगर मुझे इंस्टाग्राम पे या लिंक्डइन पे फॉलो किया हुआ है, then you might have seen some of my website designs which I suppose let me just show you a few designs that I have created, and hopefully if the stream is working properly आप वेबसाइट मेरे डिज़ाइंस देख पाओगे right about now. So yeah, so this is like one of the websites that I have created, uh, and all these three websites that I have designed are specifically for the student organization that I have inside the LPO campus. That's basically Engine Student Organization. So in this website that I have made, I have used the concept of idea and innovation depicted by this bulb actually. And now if we take a look at the second design that I have, it's the Beat design, uh, boat headphones design. Actually this design is actually kind of inspired from another design that I have seen in the Instagram account of one of the web designing accounts or company you can say. So वहाँ से इंस्पायर होकर ये मैंने बनाया था, बट आई थिंक इस एरिया में पर्टिकुलरली कुछ गड़बड़ हो गई है, and this area it does not look very clean. So this was actually my very first design. Now this one is the last design that I have created, and this one is actually using the very engine of the aeroplane to depict that the transition between the two sides of the human nature. And then we have used this menu which looks like an app, and this is very clean and very insightful, I would say, this design. So now let's just close all these tabs. We are not here for that. We are here to actually design a very new website design for the website that I will be creating in the future. So yes, what I actually have with me right now, कि अगर आपको कोई भी वेबसाइट बनाना है तो आपको सबसे पहले उसका एक स्केच रेडी कर लेना चाहिए, because that sketch will actually tell you how many pages the website should have, how many sections the website should have. आपको एक बेसिक आइडिया हो जाएगा कि आपके वेबसाइट में क्या फंक्शंस होने चाहिए, आपका मेन पेज कैसा दिखना चाहिए. सो दिस इज़ माई मेन पेज दैट आई हैव स्केच्ड आउट. यू विल सी कि ये जो मेन पेज है, मैंने मैक्सिमम इन्फॉर्मेशन जो है वो मेन पेज में डाला हुआ है. एंड एट द वेरी टॉप देयर इज़ अ nav bar जो है वो स्टिकी होगा टॉप में, ताकि हम जब स्क्रॉल करते हैं तो वो एक जगह पे ही फिक्स्ड रहे. देन ऑन द लेफ्ट हैंड साइड वी विल हैव दिस, लेट मी ट्राई टू मार्क इट, this one. So we will have this you can say information about our organization, and CTA or call to action button, the events button. So let's just start by creating this main screen. Okay, so let's just do that. So first of all we will need a new layer. Try to move it on top and then delete this layer. Now we have an empty layer, completely blank. We will first of all fill this up with one color, complete white. And now let's create another layer and then fill it up with complete black. Now these two are actually going to help us to check if the thing that we are making is complementing a lighter side of the page or the darker side. Now the first step is to create the nav bar. So the nav bar needs to have the engine logo. Let's import that. You need to have all your images and your logos ready, especially logo, because the logo will be provided to you by the client and all. So you need to have your logo ready, and in different variations depending upon if you're making a light version of design or if you're making the dark version of your website design. So let's crop this logo that we have. Crop it, copy it, close it, go to the nav bar, paste here, deselect the nav bar, and make it smaller. Let's create a new layer. Okay, now let's create the actual nav bar. We will try to keep the color a little bit darker so that the nav bar can be differentiated from the actual page. Not too dark, slightly darker. Okay, so now let's put this below so that the logo comes in top. Okay, now so here we have this. Now as my design actually had this information on the left hand side, we need to make that. So the thing is I think the logo should be a little bit smaller, and why I am creating this smaller, there's a reason. Because there's a thing called hierarchy in design, and that's basically how the audience's eyes are moving. कि audience अगर कुछ देख रहा है तो उसका जो concentration, उसका focus है वो कहाँ जा रहा है. For example, my audience main focus, I want it to be on the name of the organization. That's engine basically. I have to change the color. Let's keep the color a bit darker. So I will make this big, like seriously big. Now okay, we need rulers to define how to place where to place the stuff. So okay, so engine. Now the first thing that the audience is going to see, anyone coming to the website is going to see, is the organization name, engine. The next thing the person should see is basically this part. This part, it's the information about the organization. So basically this one, engine is an organization under the aegis of division of and blah blah blah. So we need a short introduction to the organization, to the stuff that we do. So we need to create this. So engine, and then we're going to make it very very small compared to the heading that we have put. Okay, so engine, and also we need to change the font, because right now it's all in caps and that definitely does not look good. If you want to make something look important, you have to make the other thing look less important. So here the most important thing is the heading. So after like doing that, we need to make this not caps. We don't want any caps. Let's check out other. This looks good enough, so we can actually try engine is a student organization. Okay, actually this looks very skewed if you see, so we are going to delete this, create a new one. Engine is a student organization. Okay, this looks good, but I want it to be even more small. So it's at around 44 points. Let's do it to 35. Okay, organization, under the division of, and I just DSW LPU, and I think this looks pretty good. We don't want it to be skewed. Okay, so now what we can actually do is try to place it quite similar to the heading near the ruler. Okay, so this part, see, the engine logo is touching the ruler that we have created, but the heading is not, and that actually kind of distorts the placement. So we need to put it exactly close if possible. Okay, now we need to create another text box, and we will write engineers is student organization at DSW LPU. Now we can put it in what we can write. We can write we organize tech and tech and hobby. Events, tech events. We organize events we can just make this all cap and like focus on the part that we organize. We organize events. We can try to make this bolder. Okay, so luckily the bold is available, and now again the placement is very important, so we will be trying to place it. Okay, so what we can do actually, when we do this, like we place it in here, we will see actually that there is very bold, then there is light, and there is little bold. So this does not really have that much of an impact considering the hierarchy. When we are thinking of the hierarchy, we want the very bold to be on top, the little bold to be on the below that, and the least bold at the bottom. So what we will have to do is that we will have to move this and move this and place this here. Here, and then follow this here. And if we could try to create this a little bit bigger, that would be even better. Let's try 50. Looks good. So now anyone who comes on our page, he will directly know that this is the website of Engine Organization. They conduct the event and they are related to LPU, Lovely Professional University. So this is the front page of our organization, and the audience should not have to think a lot of times before realizing that okay, this is related to LPU and this is related to events. No, we want them to know right away that we are an organization of LPU and we conduct events. So that's how we do it. This is the hierarchy. On top we have this heading, below that we have this small heading, and below that we have the paragraph or the required information that we want to put. Now let's save it, because it's very important to always save whatever you're creating. Now we will name this anything. Okay, so now let me just take a look at the stream, and if everything's going smoothly or not. Oh, okay, I think I missed out on a lot of chats. So hello Amit Pathania. Hi Yash. Hello Atul. So Atul Patel. Hello. Okay, so I will go back to now streaming. So हेलो अमित, हाय. क्या अमित कोई वीडियो वगैरह बनाते हो क्या? चैनल है क्या? ओके, तो अब ऐसा करते हैं कि अब जाते हैं. नाउ this is looking great, but the thing is that if you see that I had this part. Let me select it. I had this button events. Now the thing is कि अगर कोई भी वेबसाइट है, and if like अगर आप किसी भी वेबसाइट पे जा रहे हो तो आप वहाँ पे कुछ करने के लिए जा रहे हो. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, if you are going on a hotel website, you are going there to book a room, a hotel room. If you are going on an event organization website, then you're going there to take a look at what kind of events they conduct, and what events have they conducted already, and what are the next events that is coming in the future. So there should be a call to action button. अगर किसी वेबसाइट के पास में एक कॉल टू एक्शन बटन नहीं है, then it defeats the purpose of the website. So we will have to create a good call to action button. So let's create the call to action button. So what we can do is let's take this rectangle and create a rectangle button. Now the thing is, what kind of button do you want to make? That's also pretty big question. For example, we can create a black button that has things written in white, contrasting button. So basically filled, contained, contrasting button. We want no borders, so this is how contrasting button will look like. So events, we are creating the events button. Okay, so here is our events button. Let's make this 40. Okay, okay, so this is what a filled, contrasting, contained button looks like. Okay, but there are other type of buttons that we could use, and basically we could create a outlined button. So the way an outline button basically looks like is that it is going to not have this rectangle box, will not be filled, and instead only the borders will be kept. So I think this filled button looks pretty good, so I'm going to leave it like that for now and save it. Now the next thing is that we want a good background or something to fill up this space. An empty website does not look good, but again emptiness can be used to create cool, clean UI. For example, you can see this this Google website. It is pretty clean in the sense that all of this empty space makes it look very clean. There's only one thing that you have come on the Google website to do, and that is to search. So here is the search bar in the spot middle of the website, and so you can do whatever you want to search and then Google search. That's the only thing that you have come here to do. So it makes it gives a very clean feel to the website. So this our website with the white background looks pretty clean, and this less amount of very necessary information also does the same thing. It gives a very clean feel. Okay, so the next thing that I want to do is to create a background, maybe to take something, to put something in this space. So let's go to Google and search for some good images. Let's go to my preferred place for backgrounds is Pexels. So we go to Pexels. You can search for background. Okay, I will this time I will use Unsplash. That is also very good website for free images. And why I'm using Unsplash? Because I need a particular resolution of photo, particular shape of photo. So I will try to look for, say, mountains will look good, and then I can just check out orientation. I want landscape, so it is. Now the thing is that in my pic, if you see, the thing is that I have actually used a dark content idea. So basically the heading is dark, everything written is in dark. So the best way to complement it will be to use a lighter background. Now how? Okay, so this image, if we check, this looks pretty good actually, mostly because most of our content will be on this side and this side will be empty. So this background, what it does is that it fills this side. So we can do is that we can use this properly. Okay, let's try to use this. Now we will minimize this. We will try to import it in here, the image, and here we have it. We will copy this, we will close this, and we will paste this here. We see that the size is a bit small, so it might break, but in the final website that we will create, we can overcome this by downloading a higher resolution image. Now we can do this, we can put it at back, and what we see that it looks very great, except that now this nav bar is actually looking pretty bad, and that's because the last time we were using white background, and so a darker nav bar was actually complementing it, but here it looks like this is not a part of the background, which we don't want. So what we are going to do is that we will reduce its opacity. Okay, another thing is that what I have done is actually I have not named the layers, and this makes things pretty complicated. Now see, after we have reduced the opacity of the nav bar, we see that it pretty much complements the look that we have in here. So we will name this nav bar container. We will name this logo. We will name this background pic. We will name this background white. Always name your layers if you are creating a big project. Now what we can do is that this is filled button background. So not for what we're going to do is that we're going to create a folder with this and this and rename it to navbar. Now what happens is that this way we can just control the whole navbar with a single click. Now see, this looks pretty great actually, not bad for, I think it's a 26 minutes, so it's pretty great. Let's save it. And now what we are going to do now, okay, so focus again back to navbar. So in the navbar we are going to have to put a few buttons. One of them is going to be the login button. So let's again, this and this, we can make a folder. We can say it's a filled button, then we can duplicate it, rename it. We can rename this one. We can rename this one as filled button events. This one can be renamed as filled button login. So now login button, you can select this, put this here in the middle. Okay, and now we just have to go to events and rename this to login and change like login, and that's done. I will say this looks like a very clean website, but there's something bothering me, and that is the placement of these three. Okay, now what I'm going to try is to, so when you're visiting any website and there's a big picture, it's called a hero, and the content can be named as hero content. So we have this on top. Let's put the nav bar here. The login button will go inside the nav bar. The event button is going to be here. Now the event button, engine, all these three stuff is to go into a folder. We can name this as section 1 or the home page. Home page sounds better. Now when we disable the home page, we see that most of the things get hidden. Okay, so what happened is that this is to go here. So when we hide the home page, everything is hidden. So when we select the home page, everything gets selected, and now we can reposition it to be in the smack middle of the website. I think this looks much better, right? It looks fantastic. Hi Jyotiska, I hope you are doing fine. Great to have you guys here. Now the next thing that we're going to do is to create another section of the same page, right? So now we have this section called as event, and event basically has a few stuff in here. As you can see, event has the analytics, how many participants were there, how many Insta reach was there, how many likes was there, and we need to like recreate all of this in a very nice way on the website. So this artboard, you can say, is for the home page. Let's create another artboard. Now we have got in here another artboard. So what we can do is that we can duplicate the nav bar and just put it in there. So we got the nav bar right away. Now what to do about the background? So we need a background. We can easily copy the background, but yeah, let's do that. Let's copy the background. We can actually, while we are developing, so when you are only a web designer, you don't need to think about the development process, because you will only be creating the design of the website, and the development of the website, that's the coding part of the website, will be done by someone else. But when you are both the designer and the developer, you are thinking about the possibilities and the freedom that the CSS or the coding language that you're using will allow you, what you actually have, how much experience you have. So that makes even the website designing part very much limiting, because if you don't know how to create something, you will automatically think about that same process when you're designing your website. But yeah, so we have actually copied the same screen without the hero content. So this is the artboard 1. We can rename it as the home page section 1. We can rename it artboard 2. Artboard 2 can be renamed as the home page section 2. Now what you see here is that, why have I renamed 2 sections and only 1 page as home page? So when we see this, we are saying that this website has 1 section, 2 section, 3 section, 4 section, and 5 sections. But this is whole, as a whole, this is only the home page. So basically it will be scrollable, but in Photoshop I don't think, or at least I don't know how to make things scrollable, and so that's very limiting to me. But anyways, let's move on and create the analytics page. Now what happens is that when an audience comes and sees that, okay, you conduct the events, they will want to know how good are you at conducting events, and so they will scroll down to the events page. Now that events page will have all the necessary information. For example, how many participants were there in your last event, how many events have you conducted, what was your reach like, how many likes did you gain. So this all will encourage not only the people to participate in your events, but also some people will try to join your organization, or some company might come to you for the sponsorship. So with all that in mind, we have followed the home page directly with the events. So now when we are displaying analytics, the best way to do it will be to use cards. Now what cards actually are the cards are basically blocks of information, like this rectangle block. We can try to make it white without any borders. Let's see how it looks. Okay, we can name it card. We can decrease the opacity. It looks completely different right now, so we will decrease the opacity to 40. Maybe we just need to decrease it a little bit more to 20. And now when we check, it looks like a block of square. So it will be great if we could just try to put in some shadow. Okay, so we need an outer glow. Outer glow is here, or we can try drop shadow. Now let's check out the drop shadow settings, and what you can do is you can try normal mode. Color will be black, and increase the distance, increase the spread. Distance can be increased, size can be decreased, yeah, spread can be decreased. Okay, so it looks quite good. Opacity of the drop shadow. Okay, so this looks actually pretty sweet. This looks pretty sweet actually. Yeah. So what we can do now is we can just make duplicates. We need 2 more cards. So here it goes. This is card 2. This is card 3. Okay, we'll save it just in case we don't want to lose any information. Okay, now what we're going to do is that we're going to add the position of the card. So this will go to this end, but again we need the rulers to make it consistent. So for some reason we have this ruler, we have this ruler for let's position this ruler. Great. Let's position this ruler. Fantastic. Now let's position our card with accordance to these rulers. Okay, this looks great. Okay, now what we need to do is that we have to put it a formation inside it. So there will be basically 2 things inside each card. Okay, and so we can just put a label. It will contain what? It will contain likes, it will look better if it's in capital. So try to increase it. Something's wrong. Okay, so I will just put it here. Likes. Take this, place it in the card. Card is the 3rd card. Now then we are going to place the numbers, say 40k for example. Now these numbers are what attracts the people, so it's very important that you put in accurate numbers and not bloated up numbers, because that's going to fall back on you someday. So always put the correct information in any kind of designing that you do. You can of course say that these are placeholders for the real information. There's something bugging me about the placement. Okay, we will just try to make it bold. Okay, now try to place this. Okay, now this looks way better. So what we can do is we can just copy this, then we can change placement. again we can select this, change the placement. Now again you will see that actually this is all different. We don't want that. See, I'm not a perfectionist and I absolutely hate doing to the point work. But this is what like looks the best. If you do it perfectly, it will look the best. You cannot be a designer and do a hodgepodge job. But I know some things will irk you. For example, the placement of likes should be a little this, a little that, so that happens. And there's hardly anything that I can say. Okay, so what we can do now is to place everything inside. Okay, so let's rename all of this. For example, this can be named as participants, and we can place it in the middle, horizontal middle. Rename it to something like 100 plus, because I don't think we currently have 40,000 plus participants. That's not the case. Then next what we can do is we can rename these to impressions. Again, change the placement to fit the card, and then put in the actual impressions if possible. And now what we have in here is a page that, let's say this, we have 2 pages of our website complete. So I suppose this looks pretty damn good. Hello Akshaj Bhatnagar, hello Prashant. यार मतलब एक ही ये होता है ना कि जो लोग के पास 2 डिस्प्ले होते हैं उनके लिए बढ़िया होता है। एक ही लैपटॉप में काम करो एंड दूसरे डेस्कटॉप या डिस्प्ले पे चैट्स वगैरह देखते रहो। मुझे यहाँ मिनिमाइज़ करना पड़ता है, तो आई काइंड ऑफ मिस अ लॉट ऑफ चैट्स। AKSHAJ, hello Ayush. Okay, so what I'm going to do is like create another artboard. Okay, first of all, what we see is that this homepage section is not actually well maintained, unlike this homepage section 1. So we need to put all the informations inside the respective card. For example, in the first card we have participants and participant number. So this and this card should actually go inside a folder. So this will be participant card. When we unsee it, it vanishes. So okay, now 40,000 likes. So this card belongs to impression. Make a folder, create impression card. Then this is the like card. So this is how you manage your artboards. Okay, so we have 3 people currently watching. कौन देख रहा है भाई? When I started, actually I did not actually expect anybody to watch, but yeah, it's fine. अच्छा लगता है कोई देख रहा हो तो। आगे सोच रहा था वेब डेवलपमेंट का भी एक्चुअली डिस्प्ले करने का, बट लेट्स सी. Okay, so now we have two sections complete. What we had here, two sections completed. Now we have this section called core members. Let's make this. So what we can do, actually, we can just maybe duplicate the output. Okay, what happened here? So yeah, we have in here another output. We can rename this to section 3. What this section 3 contains is the very important members of our organization. Now whenever someone is going through the organization website, they need to know who the main people of the organization are. So we have the core members, and again, for core members we are going to be using cards. Now we have 5 cards in here. Actually there are six core members, so I will be creating 6 cards. Now again, for displaying data, we're going to use cards, because cards actually make it look pretty clean, but the cards will be a little bit different this time. So let's delete this card that we currently have. Okay, now we have the base ready. Let's create a new card. Hello Ayush, thank you. Divyansh, I am actually in second year right now. Ayush, no bro, I have not cleared my BTech. I am actually doing second year BSc Computer Science course, and I have pretty good information about web design and web development. So that's the thing. I also know a few more languages like C, C++, Java, XML, and JavaScript, HTML, CSS, and PHP also. So I know quite a bit of coding. If there's any questions, please do ask. I'm actually very this engagement that we are having is quite useful. So now let's create another section. This is the card section that this is the core member section. So again, we will start by using a few borders like this here and this here. Now again, we will be repurposing this ruler. So again, let's put one in the middle of the page, because we need 6 cards, so we can divide it into 2 rows and 3 columns, right? So let's make a square, at least as square as possible. Let's make it 450 by 450. Okay, I think it looks pretty big. Let's go with 400. Maybe a bit more small, 350. So last time we did not have a problem because we had only 3 cards to create, but this time we have a lot more cards to create. So we need to take into consideration how much big the card size is. So we have this card in here, but we need to fill this card, and we don't need any borders. So again, we will remove the borders. Again, we will try to merge it with the background, not completely, just a wee bit. But in here, the cards matter very less. The background of the card matters very less, because here we will be putting the images of our core members. So we don't really have their images right now, so we'll be using a placeholder, and let's just say we can use a color to use it as a, we can put a color to use it as a placeholder. So like we have this card in here, we have to make another rectangle just here. Just here, and we can now fill this with a darker color, because I think dark complements light color very nicely. Or actually what we can do is we can actually fill this up with a lighter color like this. Yeah. And now what we can do is that we can copy this rectangle, put this on, and fill this up with black. Increase the opacity. Okay. How to fill this up with this? So yes, let's see. So this and this, let's increase this. The size is perfect, but this needs to be increased. Okay. Now the difference in color that I have used is for visual representation. I can change the color to something more useful. I think this actually, still like this. Let's use the selector tool to select it and then paint much darker. Okay, rasterize it. What's actually going on? Okay, select this area, choose the brush tool, choose the color, create a new layer and then paint over it. So now this basically you will then merge it to create a card. Here will be the photo that we will get from our core members, and this will contain the label, their name or their position or both. So first of all we will just keep the name for now. So name, and the color can be something that complements. Name, and then here can be a picture, so let's keep that empty for now. Right, now what we need to do is that this and this, we need to group it in a folder and rename it to say core card. Now we just need to do is duplicate it 5 times. 1 2 3 4 5. Now we have 6 cards in here. Now what we need to do is just position it very properly. So we'll select, place it at the corner, select, place it in the middle, select, place it in the corner, select, place it in the middle, select, place it at the bottom. And what we need to do is that we have just random, we have just approximately we have just done it, not accurately. So we need to place the ruler on the top, place the ruler on the bottom, and now we have to just make sure that this actually aligns with the ruler. Now just go to bottom, do the same. Same thing can be done. Select, change the position, select, change the position, select, change the position, select, change the position. It's behind, so which name is that? So see, if you are not careful, this type of things can happen. So I have completely messed up the placement. For example, this name and this card belong to 2 different places, but I have placed it in the same folder. So okay, let's check this. We have this here. We can just try to place it all on top. Outside the folder. What else do we have? We have this last card. We can just place it on top again, and yes, here we have it. Now this pattern will be followed by not only the core members but also by the coordinators. Like if we check out this here, you have the coordinator section, so this is going to follow exactly the same method. So that screen is also ready. Now, hello Nishant. Hello. Hello. So okay, आई मीन आई थिंक कि अगर मैं थोड़ा गेमिंग स्ट्रीमिंग करूँगा तो इससे ज़्यादा व्यूवर्स आएंगे ऑफ कोर्स, बट यार गेम्स के भी अपने अपने प्रॉफिट एंड नुकसान है. पर्सनली स्पीकिंग मैं गेम्स खेल नहीं पाता हूँ, तो मेरे लिए लाइक स्ट्रिक्ट नो है. एंड नॉट बिकॉज आई एम बैड एट प्लेइंग गेम्स, बट मोस्टली बिकॉज when I play 3D games I feel sick. I don't know why that happens, but that does actually happen. Okay, so we can now hide this homepage section number 3. Now what we have is the members section. So the members section does not need a photo. In the member section we only need the cards to display, not the cards actually, we can use a table to display the information or the names, only the names of the members that we have. So we can just duplicate it again, the artboard, and we can rename this as section number 4. So let's delete all the things that we have in here except the nav bar and the background, because that's going to be constant. And think about how we can display the members. So what I want is it to be, should we use a card to display it? Should we use a table to display it? I think a card would look great. On the other hand, a table would look pretty hectic, unless the table is itself a kind of card. So let's do that. Let's create a table that looks like a card. We will use a rectangular card for this. And we can make it black, but we can reduce the opacity because it looks good, it looks great that way, right? Now when we're doing this, we need okay, let's see, 80 opacity. Now we need the name. Okay, so we will be displaying here two values, the name and the registration number. So let's do that. So the name, well, now see this, when this happens it's very disturbing. Yes. Name, okay. Name should be here, and a registration number. So basically somewhat like 11 whatever. So because all the members in the engine organization are a member of LPU, and LPU provides this registration number to every student, so we know we can just put this here. What we can do next is that we can combine these three. So we have this, you can say, template, member card. Now we can just duplicate it multiple times to fill up the space. So let's do this, keep it coming, and that's good enough. So I think we have some extra, we had one extra card. Let's delete that, and it's done. So the member section is also done. See, the website already looks pretty great, I would say. Next thing that we need to have is, okay, so this page is basically completely done. Let's close this. No, okay, let's save this once more just for surety. We don't want to lose any data. Next thing that we have is an admin area. See, any big website needs to have an admin area. Okay, so this is heavy work. Oh god. Okay, my god, I think this will be my final task for this video, and that is to create the admin area, and that's it. We will stop the stream after that. So let's copy the artboard, let's rename it to admin section 1. Now let's delete the unnecessary items, which is basically all of this card. Now the admin area has a logout button. First of all, there will not be a login button. So what we can do, that we can go in here and change this to logout, because only the people who have logged in, the admins who have logged in, can go to this page, right? And I think we should also put a my page button, my account button, maybe for the members. Account, yeah, because to visit this page, like this is not a section of the same home page, no, this is another page. So all of these were just part of the home page, but this page is different. This is a different page with a different URL. So people will have to click on this account button to visit their account. So if they are an admin, they will visit the admin page. If they are an editor, they will visit the editor page. If they are a member, they will visit the member page. But this button will only be visible after they have logged in. So you need to take care of that also. What thing will be visible when. Okay, so we, what we do now is that, okay, we now the nav bar is done. The nav bar had that much element, but then we have in here this column which contains the admin's information. Okay, so what we can do is we can again create, okay, let's do this. So this will basically be our admin area. We can choose a color of our liking. So this is our admin area background, and so navbar will actually be on top of this. So what's actually happening here is that the navbar actually already has its opacity set, and we have actually put the admin area under the navbar. So the navbar is actually becoming darker. So what we should actually do is that we have to change the color of the navbar, something more light, and then we can readily decrease the opacity to differentiate. So again, this time we don't need stroke. I don't remove the stroke, and no stroke. Yep. So this looks not that bad, but the thing is that this is actually taking the navbar is not looking good. Like let's see if we could select this and pull down. Yeah, let's see if we can decrease the height. So yes, yeah, now this looks good. Now what we can do actually is we have to put the image here, because as you can see here we have the admin's photo here and in a circular form. So here it is, the placeholder for the admin. So put it in here. And yeah, I think so we can put this in another folder called the admin area, or admin info more importantly, but just yeah, let's let that be. Now you can see that here there are a few things. This box represents some text, so it could be text like here email@gmail.com. Color needs to be darker, size needs to be smaller, way smaller, like centered. Okay. And then we can have things like the registration number. Okay, let's add 1256, whatever. This represents the registration number. Then put it in here. Then you can add some other information. For example, position. So yeah, this looks good. Now we can save it, because always save it, always. Now what do we have in here is that there are few buttons like add members, remove members, update members, add event, update analytics. so we need that button column. Now how to add button columns in a good way, in a way that it looks good. We can add horizontal buttons, but of course I don't know, I don't think that's a great idea. What other thing we have? We have the core members and the coordinators members listed here. So what we can do is that we can put in a new hello brood vlogs, hello brood vlogs. So I will just create another rectangle section here. Like this section, because the height should be a little bit less, is going to contain whatever buttons will be necessary. We can put this to 30 opacity, or maybe a bit higher, and let's start adding maybe actually we can add those buttons in the admin area itself. That sounds good to me. So we just need to go here, copy this like J, and put this in the admin area, right? So basically T, take this, put this here. But the thing is that this needs to be way smaller. Now the thing is that we need to change the button, what the button is saying. So we will have to take this, add member. So now this needs to be way smaller than it currently is. This is how it should look. Now again we can do J multiple times, and each time we can do, okay, no, not again, not this time. Just select it completely. We are going to select the whole. Don't repeat a mistake. Again, T. Again, T. So we have ready 4 buttons in here. So one of the buttons will be to add members, the other will be to update members. Now this is not fitting in here, so I'm going to decrease it even more, maybe 10 points. See, it might look small in here, but when you're creating the actual app, the button sizes and everything will be according to the need. I'm not really very specific when I am designing something. I just create the overall design and the layouts. There are other web designers who are professionals, and they make extremely great designs with extreme accuracy, so that when it's copied, it will be copied in exactly the same way that they have created. So that's fantastic for them. We need other features here like add member, update member. What else did we have? We had we have add event and update event. So that's it, add event and update event. Add event, and then we can edit this one here as update event 10 points. So this looks pretty good. Save it. Now what we need to do is that we have to create this part, the core member and the member coordinator members. Let's do that. Let's divide this screen. Will actually be divided into two parts. So what we can actually do is not really divide the screen in two parts, but create a card that can be shown like that will be half the size of the screen. So something like this. We can just then put this in here, name it like core area. Put X in here. Core. We need to increase the size. Change the color. Then what we need to do is that we have to copy this J T. Then we need to change this to coordinator area, and this to coordinator. And yes, and make this into a folder, core coordinator, then just create another square which will contain the information of the members, like core members. Don't do this. So members, so basically this and this can be merged, and multiple copies can be just created. CTR, Control J, Control T, and here it comes. Then again select both of these, Control J, Control T, go down. again Control T, Control J, Control T, move down, Control J, Control T, move down, and well, save it and hide the rulers, and there we have it, all the pages of the website completed. Right from the home page, section 1 to home page section 2 to home page section 3 to home page section 4 to the admin login page with all the available buttons and functions that we can do. So I think I will end this. Thank you, Nishant. Thank you. I'm happy that you like this website. So yeah, it took 1.5 hours and we have created multiple web pages, and it's I think it looks pretty good, and I might make a few changes, but this is what you can do on Photoshop if you practice a little bit and if you have the idea of what kind of website do you want. So yes, Nishant, we can actually do that. We can actually especially because अगर हम कोई ऑफलाइन इवेंट करा रहे हैं, then we can put those images of the events that we conduct on the home page itself. It will look fantastic. It's a great idea, Nishant. So we just need to make sure whenever that we are making any website design that the colors complement each other. So, and hierarchy should always be followed. You need to know that how the eyes of the audience is moving. So I hope that you guys loved this live stream. अगर तुम लोग चाहते हो कि मैं ऐसे लाइव स्ट्रीम्स और करूं एंड अलग अलग चीज़ के करूं, बिकॉज यू सी आई हैव knowledge about website design, website development, video editing, photo editing. I sometimes get into Arduino robotics. I sometimes do a lot of things, and I would really be glad to share this with you guys, and hopefully you guys can learn a lot more. तो अगर तुम लोग चाहते हो कि मैं ये सब शेयर करूँ, ये सब लाइव स्ट्रीम करूँ, then just comment in the comment section below कि मुझे आपको क्या सीखना है, what things do you guys want to learn, and I will try to learn it myself and then try to teach you guys in a manner that is more suitable to you guys. I hope कि ये लाइव स्ट्रीम आप लोग को पसंद आया होगा. तो इस वीडियो के लिए इतना ही. मिलते हैं अगले वीडियो में, एंड लेट मी जस्ट एंड दिस लाइव स्ट्रीम. हैव अ ग्रेट डे. Hey.